Another thing that everybody brings a dog to me, I find quite frequently, the dog's never been on a leash before. I don't know how many times, and I laugh because it happens a lot. I had a Vizsla one time, and this was someone that didn't really do much research on a breeder, didn't really do much research on a breed. He told me, he admitted to me, they walked into a hardware store and they seen a dog, and they said, "What kind of dog is that?" The guy said, "It's a Vizsla." So the next day they found a Vizsla breeder and they bought one, a puppy. Had no clue what the dog was. They were bird hunters, but they had labs their entire life. And they showed up with this dog, and dog was very well taken care of. Vet records, AKC papers, dog has everything he needs. People love the dog to death. But they show up in the truck, and what do I see? They pull in, and I'm looking at the truck. It's a big F-250 or something, big four-door truck. And I see the dog, boing, 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 all over that truck. And the wife's sitting there doing this number, and the dog's jumping all over, and he goes to open the door, and he looks at the dog, he says, "Sit." You think the dog sat? No. He says, "Stay." You think the dog stayed? No. He opened that door up, and he leaned down like this, and that dog jumped on his back, and out the door it went, and I seen that dog take off across my field. And I went, "Poof, good luck. I'm never gonna see that dog again." And I looked at him, I said, "Is he gonna come back?" "Oh yeah, he'll come back." So he starts hollering for him, and eventually the dog came near. I ended up getting another dog out in the yard so the dog would come by that dog and I could grab him. And I put a leash on him. He just looks at me and kind of smiles. He's like, "Yeah, he's not used to that." And I said, "Why isn't he used to that?" "Well, we just don't need it." Okay. I live 1.5 miles off the road. Okay. I don't need leashes either. I never need leashes. I rarely ever need a leash for my personal dogs, but there are times that I do. You know, you come hunting to Haymarsh and you're going to hunt fields 6 and 11. You've got to walk through a couple fields to get there. And what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you to put one of these on your dog. That dog's got to be on a leash because you're walking through someone else's field. You know, you're gone for work one day and your wife needs to take the dog to the vet. That can go for the crate training too. And I know a lot of wives, including mine, that aren't going to put up with that for one. But for two, they're going to want the dog on a leash. If your dog isn't used to walking on a leash, he's going to pull your wife everywhere. He's going to pull you everywhere. You take the dog to the vet, there's nothing worse than taking the dog to the vet and having that dog sit there and pull on the leash and yank on it the entire time. That's just annoying. And I have to do that quite frequently because I get these dogs that aren't leash trained, and that's what I have to do. But your dog needs to be on a leash, and part of that's heel work, and it's just part of obedience. Every dog should be able to walk on a leash and not pull on the leash and not be crazy. And you've seen Boone on the leash when I brought him out a minute ago. This guy was never walked on a leash because, Boone, there you go. Because they didn't need to, right? And by the time he got old enough to walk on a leash or go somewhere, hey, he's too big to walk on a leash, and he's pulling them all across the countryside, right? So one thing for Boone that we've learned is he's a big puppy for one, right? Hey, sit, 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 good. One thing that Boone has learned is how to somewhat walk on a leash. And there's a couple different ways that I can do this. One way is by taking this leash and wrapping it around his belly just like this. And this is called kind of a half hitch on the belly. Most dogs, when they're walking on a leash, you can see he doesn't like that, right? Because that's pressure. Most dogs don't like pressure, and they will submit to pressure. I have this on the wrong way here. Most dogs will submit to pressure. So I put this pressure on his belly, and you see what he does? Instantly calm. He's chill, he's relaxed, because he's feeling that pressure. Then I let the pressure off, and he's good. I do the same thing in my lab. He starts going crazy again, pressure. Release the pressure. And this is, most dogs with this system right here will do great. And they don't really need anything else. I do this in my lab, and it's almost too much pressure. He doesn't like it, but he learns. But you see his attitude 2 minutes ago, going crazy, and now he's got that pressure on. He realizes, oh yeah, we're doing this again. Okay, let's not do that. So he realizes I'm gonna be calm. Another tool that I use for a lot of big guys like this, come on. I know. And I let him be like this, right? I just got him. He's been here for 2 weeks. I'll let him be fun. I'll let him be crazy. As long as he's not jumping on me and being nuts. But see, he's pulling again now that I have that pressure off. So this right here is a prong collar. A lot of people don't like these. They say these are mean. They're horrible. This hurts the dog. And these right here are my best friend. This does not hurt the dog. You can put this around your wrist all day long and I can yank as hard as I want. It's not gonna break through my skin. It's gonna tickle my skin and I'm gonna feel pressure, but it's not gonna hurt me. I don't know if this one fits you, buddy. I have a couple different ones of these. And this goes on their neck just like this. It's got a little spot right here that it ties to, hooks onto. And for the most part, this can be loose, right? I don't need this to be tight. But when I need it, see that? His attitude totally changed. Here, Boone. Here. And when I want to, I have it tight. When I don't want it, it sits there and it's loose. Look at how calm he is now. It's pretty simple. And now you have a dog you can work with and you can love on and you can pet without jumping everywhere. Yeah. But we have these tools nowadays to use and a lot of people don't like to use them. And I'm not sure why. I think people are scared that they're going to hurt the dog. But, you know, I tell everybody with an e-collar, I use the e-collar on myself all the time. Every e-collar I get, number one, feel it. Number two, I wait till I can feel it. I mean, if I'm going to hit my dog with an 80, I want to know what an 80 feels like. An 80 hurts. But for a lot of my German dogs, when there's a bird in there and I'm yelling no bird, one nick on an 80, and I see him go like this, and that's it. I mean, I've got my dog Timber, I've got a Garmin 550 Pro Plus. I can put that sucker on a 6 and hit him with all power. And he's running after the bird going like this, right? So it might hurt to you, but a lot of times that dog, they're good. They'll feel it, they feel the pressure, and they're good. But these tools right here are, I mean, imagine if they would have put this on him down in Texas. This dog would probably never be with me. Every time, when I talk about food aggression, you know, I had to teach this dog that, you know, food is not his, it's mine. And we'll go into that later with the problems. But a lot of these tools are used for training like that. And don't be afraid to use them. Choke collars, I'm not such a big fan on. A lot of people like them. I don't, and this is just personal opinion, I don't like how I've got to snap the dog with a choke collar. A lot of people, you see those guys train with those choke collars, snap, and they'll snap that choke collar with that dog. I'm not a big fan of that. I like this better because I can have no pressure and I can have it loose and I can apply just a little tiny bit. And he feels it, oh, yep, okay. And I don't got to yank on it. So there's a couple tools right there you can use to help in training. And if you got a dog that's crazy walking on leash, get yourself a prong collar and it'll save you a lot of headache. I have a lady that I know that trains dogs behaviors, that's a behaviorist trainer with dogs, and she is a firm believer in the prong collar. And she's gone to seminars all across the country. She knows what she's doing, and she still uses the prong collar. It's not a dog, I'm not the dog whisperer, right? You just seen me. I'm not sitting here connecting with a dog on a spiritual level. I put a prong collar on him, right? It's not hard. I'm not the dog whisperer. This is a tool you can get at TSC for $20 that can save your stress level, save a lot of your problems. So learn to use these tools. They're quite simple. Come on. Good boy.